What's up guys, Xayah here, and welcome to my top 5 comps of patch 12.11, the first patch of set 7. I know a ton of you guys are super hyped for set 7 and want to hop onto the rank ladder and climb as much as possible. And the first thing that I'll say about this patch and set 7 so far, it's been one day, is that it's not super balanced. It's to be expected, it's the first patch, but there's some really strong comps right now. So I would advise playing one of these comps, or maybe there's some other super broken comp that hasn't been discovered yet. We'll see in the coming days, it's only day 1. But right now I would advise playing one of these comps if you can, most of the time. There's some games where you get a high roll opener for some different comp and you can play it, but I think the difference in strength level between these comps and a lot of the other just generic comps that exist out there is quite high. So I would definitely look to play these comps. That being said, let's hop right into it. Our first comp is Mage Aurelian Soul. This comp was super busted for a long time on PBE. They sort of hotfix nerfed it right before it went live, so Aurelian Soul isn't like infinitely casting with a Mage spat. But it's still quite strong. If you can get to late game and get an Aurelian Soul and put a Mage spat on him, he is still a very strong dragon. So this variant I'm showing here just plays 5 mages. It adds in the Lulu for the Mystic buff combined with Nami. Also, that gives you Namzi. So if you can get a Heimerdinger and a Lulu super early game and start feeding Namzi his little biscuits, and if you don't know how Namzi works, look at my video that is me going over all of the traits. This is the trainer trait. Then you add in Silas is a mage, so you're playing him. You throw in an Ornn so that you can get Bruiser with Silas and just a better frontline, because these 5 units are not frontline units. And you have a pretty strong mage comp. 5 mage. You can potentially put in more mages if you have like more mage spats or +1 mage. You can also potentially cut mages, but most of these mages are really strong, right? Like, who would you really cut here? You don't want to cut Heimerdinger because you lose Namzi. Zoe's a really strong unit. You could potentially cut these two perhaps and play like a stronger frontline, but you don't really want to lose Mystic, and Nami's a really good unit as well. So yeah, that is Mage Aurelian Soul for you. Still a quite strong comp if you can hit it. Okay, the next comp we have, and it actually looked kind of similar as I tabbed over to it. This is Varus Reroll. This is Varus Astral carry. So we have 3 Astral here in the late game comp. You're really going to be rolling for Varus 3 and Alawi 3, and Nami 3 if you can hit it as well. The best Swift Shot to pair with any just Swift Shot carry is Twitch, because he's going to give your entire team attack speed, which is going to apply to this as well. Also, we can super easily slot in mages here in a very similar way as the last comp, where we get in Heimerdinger, we get in Silas, and we get in Nami. That gives us Namzi, which can be used as frontline later. Early game, he's not a great frontliner, but once you get to 2-star Namzi, 3-star Namzi, 4-star Namzi, he can actually be a really strong frontliner. And Bard's just a really good generic unit to play. So yeah, this is a really good unit if you get dropped in early Varus or some AD items and you have an Astral opener. He's a really good holder of AD items, so definitely look to play Varus if you are in that position. So yeah, the next comp we have is Xayah carry. This is a 6 Ragewing variant. Xayah's a really strong unit right now. She's another Swift Shot, so you can sort of play like Swift Shot flex, swapping between Varus and Xayah. It's definitely something that's doable. Once again, we pair with the Twitch, and we want to get Ragewing in for her, so we put in a Shyvana, which is going to count for 3 Ragewing because she's a dragon, a Hecarim, and a Shen. And the nice thing about playing Twitch is you can play some other guild units. You can play Sejuani, that's going to give your entire team guild buff and Cavalier, and Bard, that's going to give your entire team guild buff and also Bard buff. So yeah, this is a very straightforward, just 4-cost Xayah carry board. I think it's honestly quite strong. You can defeat a lot of boards, especially if you get to super late game and you get like a Shyvana too. That unit is just going to be destroying everything in her path. So definitely look at potentially playing Xayah carry if you, once again, have AD items, attack speed items, that kind of stuff. She likes both of those. She really likes like IE Last Whisper is quite good on her. Renon's is fine. I've played her with like an Edge of Night, a Bloodthirster, really any AD and attack speed items she likes a lot. Okay. And I just realized I'm going super fast. I mean, like with a lot of these comps, you can obviously, I'm just going to slow down to just give a little bit more information, though I do want to keep this video relatively short. But yeah, with a lot of these comps, you can obviously just like tech in other random units. Lulu, as you see in all of these two other comps that I've pulled up, is just a very solid unit, even without Trainer. But if you can get her with Dragon Trainer, it is really nice. Playing this comp is a bit interesting because you don't really play Rage Wings early because they're only good. Like if you're trying to play a Swift Shot early game, you're not really playing Xayah, just because she's a 4-cost. So you don't really want to play Rage Wing if you're playing like a Swift Shot early game, but you know, you can carry something like a, where is he? Where is he, that transforming man? Swain. There's also variations of this comp where you end up playing more shapeshifters. So I've seen a variation where instead of a lot of this stuff, instead of this, you play this, you play Gnar, you play Ash, I believe it's cut this as well, and cut this as well, and you can also probably cut Bard for something else. But there's this kind of variation where you're playing, oh, and you play one more shapeshifter, right? You play Nico, of course. And then you get the Jade Idol as well. So then this version plays 4 shapeshifter and Jade, which is pretty solid. I think the prior version is pretty strong, but this will make your Shyvana tankier. You can, you know, clump up your front line all around this Jade Idol so that they all get a bunch of extra health and attack speed. You could even clump your entire team around it, but it gets a little bit risky the later the game goes, but you can totally do something like this and it can be really strong. So this is actually another variation of the Xayah comp that is pretty strong as well. I prefer the previous version, but this one is really good as well. All right, now to go into our top 2 comps. The second comp is Scale Scorn Reroll. Primarily, you're rerolling for Olaf and Diana, but you can reroll for any of these units. If you get +1 Warrior, you can also fit in a Yone very easily. Where's my good friend Yone? Probably where the Ys are. Because he's going to activate this Mirage buff with Leona, who you want in because she's a Guardian. You can even do stuff like, instead of Leona, you could play a... Where the dragon's at? Idis? Because Idis is a Guardian as well, so that's going to give you Guardian buff and also Shimmer Scale, so you could play something like this at level 7. And if Idis's item gives you like attack speed, if the Shimmer Scale item for the game is like an attack speed or an AD item, you can slap that on Olaf. Or if it's an AP item, you can put it on Diana. So this is a really cool variant of the comp you can play. But yeah, primarily you're rolling for Olaf and Diana. These units, just when you get them 3-star, they do actually so much work. Diana really likes stuff like Frozen Heart, like Ionic Spark. Olaf really likes things like Bloodthirster. Gwynsu's is really good on him. Quicksilver, Titan's Resolve, you know, any kind of frontliney AD itemization is good on him. Even like Renan's Hurricane is good on him as well. So all of those items very good. But yeah, if you play this comp and you hit 3-star variants of these guys, oh, another thing about Olaf, because the way Olaf works is that every time he dies, he gains 5 AD permanently for the rest of the game. So normally when you are playing out early game, like say you just high rolled for Scale Scorn and like this is your early board, I would suggest solo frontlining Olaf like this, especially if you don't even have an assassin. Like say this is all like stuff, this is all your frontline units back here. I would suggest solo frontlining him so that the enemy team takes aggro completely on him and kills him first, so that you can get that +5 AD for the rest of the game. It's really helpful in the late game to stack up, you know, 15, 25, 30, 50 AD off of your early game. And the best case scenario is you put him solo frontline, he dies, and then you still win the fight because the rest of your units hop up and end up winning the fight. That is peak Olaf. But yeah, that is just a nice little tip for this comp as well. And then the last comp, the most OP comp, if you've been playing, you might see some people playing it. It is Nami Astral. Usually this is the Mage variation that you'll get to late game, but for a lot of the game you are going to be rerolling with Astral units. You're just going to take them out later because they're kind of trash. But for most of the game you won't be playing Zoe. Instead of Zoe, you're going to be playing Vladimir, and you are going to be using the Astral buff to roll for as many Namis as possible and hit Nami 3. If you can hit Nami 3, this unit is an absolute monster of a carry all on her own as a 2-star 3-cost, which is so insane. Like she just carries so well. Once again, we want to get the Heimerdinger and the Lulu in, and we can even tech in a Sona really easily just as an evoker to do some extra damage. Our front line, once again, Silas and Alawi looks really good. Get the Rise in for another mage and also to buff up your entire team. And then if you go 9, you can easily get in something like a bard, get more buffs from the guild, also getting in Mystic, also just getting in a really good unit. And then late game, once you've hit Nami 3, you don't care about this flat anymore, you take him out for Zoe. Zoe's a much better unit late game. In my opinion, this is the strongest comp in the game right now. Nami items, I will pull up meta TFT just to tell you, just to like show you what the best possible Nami items are. Shojin is like really, really good. Like ideally you get a Shojin. Static Shiv is also really nice. I think like Shojin, Static Shiv, Archangels makes a ton of sense. You can even get a Hextech Gunblade if you want, though she already heals a lot on her own. That's something. Even something like a Gwynsu's is really good on her, because it synergizes so well with the Shojin, like this kind of build. Shojin, Gwynsu, Static Shiv, where you are just auto-attacking a lot, getting all the Static Shiv procs, all the Shojin procs is really good. Yeah, but Archangels is really good because Nami likes long fights, Archangels likes long fights, so she's healing up your team, making the fights last really long, and then you're going to be gaining AP throughout the entire time. So really, most AP items, but she really likes a Shojin, really likes an Archangels, loves Gunblade, loves Static Shiv. I would say those are her top 4 items. And then Hextech Gunblade is also really good. And then, as you can see, as you look at more items, Death Cap is fine, all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, those are my top 5 comps of the patch. Like I said, it's only one day in, so we'll see how things turn out in the next week or so. There'll probably be a B patch, and then we'll see how things go from there. So far, I am really enjoying the set. Let me know in the comments down below if you're enjoying the set as well, what comps you have been climbing with, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Check out all the links down below to my Twitch and everything else. Thanks.